everybody from Kentucky. Deanna, hey Deanna, welcome. Let's see. Angela from Houston, welcome.
Hello, Robin from Mobile, Alabama.
Hey,
Hey,
Robin.
How's everyone today?
Great.
doing good. I am just floored by the Alabama representation. But I know y'all got a lot of love in Alabama, and I still my bestie, even though she's in Alabama.
I told you during that
That is
apostille
right.
training, it was on and popping now.
Well, Texas is sometimes come lately, but we'll be there.
Thank you, Christina. Okay, I see Linda is on.
Hey,
Judy,
Ellen.
Raphael, Melody, Derek is on. Latoya, Dan
It's
Trejo
not lighting.
joined. Sandra. Oh, we're filling up. Raphael. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, so we got some good information to share with you guys today. So you picked a good day to join us.
Miss Phyllis, I'd
We're gonna
like to
get
just
started.
interject for a second
Huh?
that I said I'd like to just interject for a second. It is so amazing how many different areas being a notary that you can bring in income. I'm just almost overwhelmed. It's just never ended. I'm like, my Lord, really?
Well,
Where
you
have
know,
Go ahead.
the thing about it is, these days you have to have multiple streams of income.
Oh
You
yeah.
just don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And
Yes.
Mr. Nelson hit on that last week. And so the training we got today, I mean, I am just so fortunate, so happy that we're able to bring this to you today, because this is just another way to improve your business, get that money flowing in. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. People are going to be coming in. I'm going to try to mute them. Michelle and I'll try to mute them as they come in. My name is Phyllis Traylor. I'm the owner of the Texas Notary Public Training Academy and the Texas Notary Patron Learning Community. I've been a notary for about, I guess, close to 12 years now. Um, I'm in San Antonio, Texas. Love what I'm doing. And I just love showing notaries ways to improve their business, because, like Wanda mentioned, there's so many ways to have additional income coming in. And you guys are going to learn about um, one that not a whole lot of people know about. So I'm just really excited about this. Also, this is a Notary Gals presentation. So I'm one half of Notary Gals. The other half of Notary Gals is my bestie, Michelle Riley from Alabama. Michelle, please introduce yourself.
Hello, hello. For those who don't know me, I've met a number of you because Phyllis was kind enough to invite me to Texas a couple years back. But I am in Huntsville, Alabama. I am the founder of Notaries for Alabama. We are an online community, and we help ordinary Alabama residents become extraordinary notaries. And I'm really happy to see close to 10 of the Hangout members here participating in Richard's presentation. So thank you, Phyllis, for allowing us to join you, my partner in crime.
Thank you, Michelle, and all the people from Alabama. This is a really great turnout. Anyway, I would like to introduce Richard, but I just saw he disappeared. So anyway, I'm just going to talk a little bit about our presenter today. His name is Richard Law, and he is the owner and founder of the Society of Field Inspectors. Now, the reason why we asked Mr. Law to speak with us today, Richard, is because he's been around for a while. His his um, his organization is among the best. I've worked with his organization before as a field inspector. Michelle has worked with his organization. Nothing but good things to say about Richard and his organization. I mean, his if you just go to his website, Society of Field Inspectors, there is so much information there to get you started on this. And I have to tell you a quick story about one of my patrons. I haven't seen her name yet on, but her name is Denisha. Denisha bugged me and bugged me about doing some training on field inspections. And I just kept trying to blow Denisha off, but she would not let me do that. She just begged me until we did it. So we did the training on field inspections in the Texas group. And then the next thing I know, I mean, she had just picked that information up and ran with it. And when we were having training earlier this week, Denisha told me that she had 3 appointments for that day that we were having training to be onboarded by 3 different organizations to do field inspections. So I said, I'm glad I listened to you, Denisha, because I mean she is so excited and she's just getting started. So field inspections is something that if you want additional income coming in, seriously consider looking at the field inspections, as Richard will share with you. Okay, Richard, take it away.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Hello.
You're all muted.
Hello.
Morning,
You're not,
Richard.
you're not
Hello.
good.
Hello.
Well, I'm here in Florida, what I call the land of paradise. And I'm in a little place called Howey in the Hills. It's kind of a rural part of Florida, north of Orlando, about an hour. And it is called Howey in the Hills because it is hilly. I'm at 121 feet of elevation. That's kind of nosebleed territory in Florida, 121 feet. So when Miami and Fort Lauderdale are underwater because of the climate change, we'll still be 121 feet up there. So maybe we'll only be 100 feet above sea level. So that's basically where I'm at. I like Phyllis was in the military. I served in the Navy for 20 years and then retired, and did a lot of things after that. I worked for computer sciences. I worked for a company called E-Systems. And then after that, I was a real estate broker up in Virginia. And that's when I started doing some property preservation and also doing some field inspections. And then later I kept growing and growing the field inspections to higher levels and just made more money as I did that. Today, we have a lot of field inspectors out in the field. Some work full-time, some work part-time. It's a gig. It's like notary signings where you kind of pick up the work that you like. You find more work that you like. You kind of avoid the work you don't really like that much. So in a way, you become a prima donna. You take the notary signings and the field inspections that pay the higher fees, and you work with the higher quality companies. So a lot of the part-time inspectors are notary signing agents. There's a lot of realtors, appraisers, real estate brokers, home inspectors, pastors, just a lot of different people that are doing it both part-time and full-time. And what you want to do is, of course, stay close to home. You're not going to run all over your state. You're going to pretty much work in the same area where you're doing your notary signings. So the idea is that you might go out on Tuesday afternoon to do a notary signing, and maybe on the way there or on the way back, you could do a field inspection. The excuse me, field inspections is a little bit easier to get started than notary signings, just because there's no state licensing requirement. There's really no certifications. You have all the equipment probably you need, because you can take photos with your smartphone. You don't need that 2-tray printer because you're not going to be printing a lot of paperwork. You're going to be doing a lot of stuff by filling out simple forms. Maybe it's a 1-page or a 2-page form, and it's going to primarily be check the box, fill in the blank type stuff. And so you're really out there making observations, and you're backing up some of your observations with photos. So it's pretty straightforward. Training wise, the company that hires you is going to provide you with the inspection form. So there's nothing that you have to create. And most of the forms kind of look alike from one company to another. So it's not, every job is not completely different. And also the companies that hire you are probably going to spend some time with you to kind of walk you through the form. Maybe they'll do that on the phone, on the telephone. Maybe they'll do it with a webinar. With the whole idea is to kind of make you feel comfortable and bring you up to speed, and then be available even while you're out in the field to call and ask a question if you run into something that you weren't expecting. And that happens. You even do that when you're very experienced. I've been doing this for many, many years, decades, and there's times I'll be out in the field, maybe doing a commercial loss control inspection, and I'll run across something I haven't seen before, and I'll maybe call them and ask some questions. Or if not, I'll just take a lot of photographs. Sometimes you'll find you'll take more photographs than are required, just because you would like to have some extras just in case there are some questions about something. So that's basically it in a nutshell. I know you're going to ask me some more questions on different parts of that, and those questions are welcome. But the whole idea is to kind of, get started, get your feet wet. I know a lot of people have a tougher time just trying to get started. They know what to do, but they're a little unsure of themselves. But just get out there and get started. I read a comment up at the notary. I'm not a notary, by the way, but I like to follow what you guys do. I read a comment up there about a very good comment, I thought, where a new notary had talked about getting started and was worried about making mistakes. And she also said that the mistakes could be costly. Okay, and they probably could be, but probably you're not going to make mistakes also. But if you're worried about making mistakes, costly mistakes, maybe you should start out in the beginning with $1 million of E&O insurance. Then after you've done the job for a short amount of time and feel comfortable, then maybe reduce it down to $750,000, and then 3 months later maybe go down to $500,000, and then maybe after a short period of time when you're really starting to feel comfortable, just take it down to the minimum required, which may be about $100,000. So that would be the answer I would give to someone if they were feeling uncomfortable and worrying about if they would make a mistake and if it would, hurt their personal finances. So start with $1 million and then go down to 100,000 if needed. But you probably don't even need to do that, because I think most of you are getting pretty good training, at least the training that I've seen out there. And so don't worry about it. Just jump in there and do it. So let me turn this over to Phyllis and let her monitor this and kind of set the stage for where we're going next.
Okay, you guys. So, Richard, I do have a question though. You said about getting insurance. So they need, most notaries have notary E&O insurance. Do they need insurance to do field inspections that will cover them while they're doing some type of special field inspection E&O insurance?
The answer is no and yes, okay? And the no part of it is with the companies that we focus on, the ones that we recommend, they're the higher quality companies, and they're also involved with the commercial and the insurance inspections. And those companies will not ask you for any E&O insurance. They're better companies, they're higher quality companies. They kind of cover you with their policy. But if you get over into what I call the mortgage segment, where you have the what I call the mortgage order mills, uh, almost all those companies pay very low fees that you would not accept, I'm sure, that I would not accept. And those companies that pay the lowest fees and seem to have the highest requirements also require you to get E&O insurance. So getting started in field services, going to the higher quality companies that pay the higher fees, you're not going to run into that. You decide you want to do $3, $4 mortgage inspections, yeah, they'll ask you for E&O insurance. But I would say most people don't pay it. And the companies we recommend are the ones that don't require it. And those are the ones that I've worked for too in the past that don't require the E&O insurance. And I've never had E&O insurance in decades working in field services. I did when I worked in doing some property preservation. I had some liability insurance just because I was going in homes, but otherwise you don't need it.
Hey, Richard, Michelle speaking. You mentioned the mortgage type of inspections, the lowballers and the others. How would we know which companies to sign up with? How do we know the difference?
Well, what you do, when you first talk to a company, you have a series of questions you want to ask them. Okay. And I think near to the top of that list, you want to get to the fee they pay. Okay. Most of these companies pay a fixed fee for one type inspection. So if you start out the conversation and you ask the question and the fees are low, then you probably don't want to be talking to them for too much longer because you'll be wasting your time. So fees are very important. And also the volume, the amount of volume you're going to get is important. And the area you want to cover is also important. Just like with notaries, field inspections, you have to kind of listen up front and see what they pay. And you might be working, let's say, for 12 different notary signing companies and maybe 12 different inspection companies, because that's usually the case. And you've got different companies paying different fees. So if you've got 12 notary companies, for instance, paying 12 different fees, you can have 12 different service areas because you want to match the service area that you offer to the fee that they provide. So if you got a company that's offering you $150 for a notary signing, you can cover a much bigger area than you can for someone asking you to do $45 for a notary signing. And if they were paying $20 for a notary signing, you'd probably have to see where you were going to be going from your driveway. So yeah, always base it upon fees. And you can do those calculations very quickly in your head. You don't need to take out a calculator or a pen and paper. You can kind of figure out how far you can go for a certain fee, and also what kind of inspection it is. How much paper printing that has to be done in the case of a notary. Yeah.
Okay. We do have a question from Raina. She wants to know what is considered a low fee.
Well, that's an individual consideration. Okay. It depends on how busy you are and how close things are. But most of the stuff, the companies that we deal with are probably, and I would say probably the $25 to $50 range. Now, these are inspections that can easily be done probably in 10 to 15 minutes on site. And there's not questions being asked. There's not a lot of photographs being required. And what you'll do is you'll get a longer period of time in which to complete the inspection too. I know sometimes with notary assignments, you're asked to go out that evening or sometimes early the next day. But with field inspections, they kind of run probably 3 to 5 days for turnaround. And some of the inspections will even run longer. Some will up to be a week or 2 weeks, depending on what type of inspection it is. So low fees, for me, I probably wouldn't go out there and do any of these mortgage inspections that are, $3, $4, $5, $6, $10, because I don't think it, even with simple forms, I don't think it's a good place to be. I think you need to earn more money. And also the other reason for not doing the mortgage inspections is because I think they're somewhat dangerous. Well, I won't say somewhat, they are dangerous because I tell people in this world today with the pandemic, there's a lot of people that have lost jobs through no fault of their own, very nice people, and they're behind on their mortgage, let's say, and you don't want to be going to their home and knocking on their door because they're upset, rightfully so, and all you're doing is asking them to call the bank and talk to the bank about their mortgage, and they don't want to do that. And you certainly don't want to be going in anyone's backyards and taking any photographs, because that's dangerous too, because people are home, they're frustrated, they got their security cameras, everyone has a security camera, and they see you in the backyard maybe taking photos, why are you there, So I would suggest to everyone just to stay away from the mortgage segment, the mortgage delinquency interviews, the bankruptcy inspections, anything that's got mortgage related to it. I think it's not a good place to be. I go up to the Facebook groups and look at the ones like on occupancy inspections. Those are mortgage inspections. And then I see where people are talking about, being forced off the road. I see where one guy says, yeah, just about every week someone pulls a gun on me. And the people that are doing it don't think anything of it, I don't think you would want to do it. I certainly wouldn't want to do it, put myself in any danger. And you're not getting paid anything either. It's not like you're out there making large sums of money doing these. They're the lowest fee ever that you could even imagine. And they just require just too much for too little.
Good information. Uh, Another question came from Derek Bloomberg, one of my patrons. He said, Richard, on your website, you list the average pay for a commercial inspection ranges from $25 to $250. What determines the huge disparity in pay?
It varies, just like with notary signings, you get different things. Something may require printing 5 pages and 2 initials and 3 signatures. And then you get another job that's, I see some of you are printing out as many as 200 pages and maybe another 200-page copy. So you kind of base it upon the amount of work that's required. Now, there's areas that grow into when it comes to field service inspections. One area that I grew into with a little bit of training was what was called commercial insurance loss control. And that's where you're going to commercial facilities, and you need some additional training for this. And this is not something you start out with on day one. You start doing the, the $35, $40, $50 inspections that take 10 minutes. And then maybe 6 months down the road or a year down the road, you move to some higher level stuff. And with loss control, well, to give you an example, is doing something like a BJ's, which is like kind of like a Costco, or going to a Hampton Inn or a Holiday Inn, or going to an Olive Garden. And there you're looking at things like fire sprinkler systems, you're looking at commercial cooking equipment, you're looking at swimming pools, you're looking at you're looking at trip and fall hazards, you're looking at flammables and processing that may go on at a facility. So you can move up to higher and higher and higher levels. The person I trained with is a guy named Jim Julian, and he showed me one of his inspections that he did. Now he's been doing this for decades, but he did a light manufacturing facility, and he was there for 3 days doing the inspection, and it took him 2 days to write it up, and he showed it to me, and he got $8,000 for that job. Okay. So the range is really higher than 250, okay, but not on day one, okay? You have to kind of get your feet wet, get some additional training. Make sure you like field inspections, okay? Same with notaries, you know, make sure you like notary assignments. And the nice part about it, I think, with being self-employed, being an independent contractor, you can decide where you want to go with your different businesses. And I remember back in the 2008 recession that we had, and the people that seemed to be doing the best overall were those that had 2, maybe 3 part-time jobs that they kind of pulled together into one full-time job. And then they kind of had, you know, the backup to the backup. When you're self-employed, when you're an independent contractor, you need a backup to the backup to the backup to the backup. I think you all know that. And home inspectors, take the home inspector up in Chicago. Okay, now when I say a home inspector, I'm talking about the inspector that's working for a buyer of real estate, where he's out there and he's looking at the heating and the air conditioning and the plumbing and the roof and the pool and whatever. In the wintertime, their business really slows down just because buyers aren't out looking to buy real estate when there's snow on the ground or when it's cold. And I was a real estate broker in Virginia, so I know that things really slow down in the winter. And so I did field services, field inspections in the wintertime more than real estate, just because I had to do something. And some of the training groups like NACHI and there's one up in Omaha, Nebraska, I forget their name right now, they actually tell their home inspectors that are in the northern climates that they get out there and learn how to do some field inspections and maybe get involved with the loss control and just kind of, you know, have a backup plan for winter weather. Just looking at Fox News just an hour ago, they're going to get over 4 feet of snow out there in the Denver area. Where is spring?
Yeah, it's slow to come to some areas this year, it seems. Richard, I've got a question from Notary Signing Group. And Richard, as you probably know, in the notary world, some of us will get our assignments by logging onto platforms where we see opportunities and we request them. Are the requests for inspection services shared on platforms that we have to watch on our cell phones or emails in order to get assigned those inspection requests? And if not, how would we get inspection work?
Okay, and yeah, things have changed over the years in all the industries. The way it usually works in the field services industry is with the commercial and the insurance inspections, which are the higher pay inspections. What you do is you get a job from a company. You know, let's take Collateral Specialist, okay, or Douglas Guardian. They're companies that have work all the time. It's what they call floor plan inspections, where you go into facilities and looking to see how much of their inventory has been, you know, still on the floor and how much has been sold, okay? And this could be a construction equipment dealer, it could be a John Deere dealer, it could be outdoor equipment, you know, chainsaws and things like that, or it could be marinas with boats if you got marinas near you. It could be lake marinas or ocean marinas. And you're looking at equipment and just kind of making observations and taking note of what's been sold, you know, and or not so, actually what they don't list as sold, but which isn't there also. and you're kind of asking maybe for a piece of paper, where's that piece of construction equipment? I don't see it. Well, they've got it out on loan. Show me a piece of paper that says who it's loaned to, and they show you the piece of paper. So that's a, excuse me, a type of inspection you would do. And most of those inspections, you get hooked up with a company, and they're kind of testing you. They give you some work to do. If you do a great job, guess what? You get more work. And you're not going up to any platforms to only to get work, okay, not to kind of compete with someone else to get work. Now, there's some companies that do that. I don't really like that because I know my capabilities, and I know if they pick me to do the job, I'll get it done. But when they throw out a flood of jobs, so to speak, and the first one that gets it, they're not always getting the best person. They're just getting the person that's, got the quickest finger. And some of those people may not be, they may be home looking at their iPad or their iPhone because they're not out in the field and they're not busy. And maybe they're not that great. I don't know. But I think I like working for the companies that kind of like you like them, and they just, if work comes up in your area, you get it. They don't go out to somebody else and try to get it done for a lower fee.
So Richard, these places will know that the inspector is coming. These aren't surprise attacks, right?
Some can be, okay, but they're friendly surprises, okay. In other words, you're not in a adversarial position with them. Usually a company can't get what they want until you've been there, okay? And some of them will actually give you some extra benefits. I mean, I've been to places where restaurants and stuff where I've done inspections, and they've, offered me a sandwich or a meal or something to drink. And so those are friendly inspections. The company cannot get what they want until you've been there. Let's take something like a draw inspection. If you're building a house and you bought the lot and then you need some money to actually build the house, and you go to the bank and you get approved, or the finance company and you get approved, they don't give you that money all at once. They give it to you in draws, okay? So they might give it to you in 5 different payments as the house progresses. So you might go to a residential property, and the first time you're there, that's maybe the ground has been broken, excavated, the slab has been poured, the underground plumbing has been installed. So that's one draw, okay, the first draw. And you go there and take some photos, okay, and show what's been done. You're not inspecting it. You know nothing about plumbing, nothing about electrical, nothing about roofing. They could have wired the dryer with doorbell wire, and you're not expected to know that. And you're not expected also to look at the quality, of the craftsmanship. So one of those type inspections, you'd probably go to the same property about 5 times. If they were building a big subdivision, you might go to that subdivision and do 5 or 6 properties at once, okay? So there, there's nothing dangerous there unless you fall in a hole or something. And there's nothing there. No one is gonna, come up to you and ask you a bunch of questions. Maybe they'll ask you why you're there, and you just explain you're there to do a draw inspection, and tell the worker he's not going to get paid until I finish. So there's nothing, adversarial there. And those are the kind of inspections you want. Okay, you don't want to get into a situation where you're in a combat mode because you're not going to get combat pay.
Okay, Richard, can you tell them a little bit more about the Society of Field Inspections, field inspectors? Is that like a organization? Well, I know it's an organization that you can join because I get lots of informational emails. So, just kind of share what benefits there are as far when you become a part of your association.
Okay, well, when we started out, the question is how did we want to handle it? Okay, how did we want to start it? What did we want to do with membership? And we decided, way back, over 20 years ago, just to have free membership for both the inspectors and free membership for the companies, because that has a lot of advantages, which I'll explain to you. And so that's how we started. And with free membership, it gives you a big advantage because when it comes to the companies, you can determine who you want in your directory and your membership as a company. You certainly don't want the no pays and the slow pays or the low pays, okay? And so when membership is free, we can easily not list those companies in our directory. We're not getting paid to list them anyways, so it's much easier not to list a company where you've heard a complaint about them from someone else and not worry that they're going to hurt someone else by not paying them or slow paying them or whatever. And when you're charging a membership, the more I think about that, when you're charging a membership, and let's say you had a company that was paying you, $2,000 to list them in your directory. And some organizations do. They do that in the mortgage segment. If you're a company, you might be charged $2,000 a year to be a member. But we charge zero for the membership. But if I was getting, say, $2,000 a year, I would maybe not start thinking about, and they were having problems about whether I wanted to delete them or not, okay? Because if I deleted them, I'm giving away $2,000, and so maybe I start thinking, well, they only had one complaint, well, it was maybe 5 complaints, but let's wait a while and see what happens. But when you got free membership, I can discard anyone I want from being a member of our organization, company-wise, and we do that. If we've got 100 companies in our membership now, good companies, high-quality companies, there's probably 100 or more that are not, and there's probably 200 or more that are never going to be, just because our goal is to kind of do right with people and get them connected with the better companies where they'll have a good experience, a good ride, so to speak, and warn them about the companies that way we warn you is if they're not in our directory, there may not be a very good company. we can't go out and warn you about all the bad companies, or we'd have all kinds of legal lawsuits. That goes. The worst company always has the best lawyers, that. So that's how we do it. And we're a networking organization. We help inspectors get connected with those good companies. And we help those good companies get connected with some good inspectors too. We send out a weekly report to the companies and let them know about new inspectors we've added to our database. And for the inspectors, the membership is free. And you can go up to joinsophie.com and just fill out a simple online form, and we'll get you listed in our database. And like I say, we send out a weekly report with all new people, and then many of the companies get a weekly report from us or sometimes they get the whole database from us from time to time, and then a weekly report. So the whole idea is to get inspectors connected with the good companies.
So Richard, I joined your organization for free.
Yes.
What do I have to buy, if anything, to sign up with these companies?
Well, excuse me. What we suggest you do is get signed up, okay? Membership is free. Up at the website fieldinspector.com, which is our website. On the left-hand menu item up there, there's some hiring firms listed. They have banner ads up there listing their website and some of the inspections they do. And you can contact those companies on day one direct and introduce yourself, let them know you're available, maybe apply online and get connected that way. And, start seeing if you like field inspections, see if that's something you want to do and just get going that way. And then if you decide you like it and you want to move to higher levels, then we do have some products up at the Sophie store, which you can purchase. One being a list of a paper directory, which lists all the companies in our membership. We also design a lot of resumes for inspectors and also more so for the notary signing agents also. I see something just popped up there, okay. We do a lot of resumes, and they're one-page flyers that says you're a notary and that you're also a field inspector. It shows the areas you cover and the services you offer. And it also, what else was I going to say? It's something that's kind of bright and bold with a header on it. It kind of gets attention real quick because in both notary signings and field inspections, people don't like to read anything, so you want to get their attention in about 10 seconds and tell them who you are, what you do, and where you do it. And if you go up to the Sophie blog at sophieblog.com, you'll see a lot of the resumes up there that we have posted. And you'll see some of those for both just inspectors and some for both inspectors and notaries. And like I say, we try to, bring out the best part. We don't include a lot of background noise, but just the very top level specifics so that you can get their attention real quick.
Okay.
And then we also have some training products up there, like I mentioned, the loss control. But that's not something you do on day one. That's something you do maybe on day 150. The whole idea right now is to kind of get you involved in some easy to do things. And I see some stuff rotating here through here. Like she's got, go ahead and go up to the top and let me talk about those a little bit. Okay, well here's a woman here. Okay, let's go down and scroll down to Notary Wise. Okay, here's a woman. I talked to her. She's up in Portland. I just did this resume for her. She's a realtor. She's a realtor actually in both Oregon and Washington. Okay, she's licensed in both areas. She's a notary signing agent in Oregon. She's got lots of experience doing both. She decided that she wanted, and she's an NNA member, I see. She decided she wanted to move into some field inspections. And so what she's trying to really do is just she's got a full basket now, but she's trying to kind of take the basket up over the brim, so to speak, I guess, and put more stuff in the basket. And she's a smart lady, I can tell just by talking to her. And so she'll do well. She's done well right now and everything. And she'll just, she's a prima donna. She just picks the best things, the best listings, the best notary signings. And she'll pick the best field inspections too. And so she'll grow her business and she'll have just more security because she's really almost got two full-time jobs now. And I'm not sure where she's going to go with the inspections, but when she goes out and she's working some long days and some short days because she's working a long day so she can take some time off. And so she's got the security. They get snow up there in Portland. In fact, there was snow on the ground when I was talking to her. So the real estate slowed down, I'm sure, a little bit for her. So she's probably relying more on notary signings and will be relying on field inspections to pick up some of that winter income, so to speak.
Richard, about how much would this flyer cost if I wanted you to make one for me?
Well, we charge $50 to do the resume, okay? And what we do is we collect a lot of information, and then I kind of I kind of design everyone different, and I figure out what's going to look best and what's going to help sell the services. Some people put a photo on their resume, others that don't. That's, strictly optional. What I find I've been doing a lot, okay, to my surprise and really getting good at. I've been doing resumes for 20 years, but excuse me. What I've been finding I've been doing a lot is doing work with photographs. Usually I'll get, like, her photograph, for instance, they had a lot of background in there. Most of the photographs I get are just loaded with background. And so what I do is I take away all that background so I can put it on top of something else. Like I did here, I put hers on top of a banner. I get some that are more sophisticated, and sometimes if the hair kind of comes off to the side a lot, you have to it's harder to
Gotcha.
clean it up, okay?
Gotcha.
Get rid of the background, so to
Okay.
speak. So I've got a
Richard,
woman over in Bangladesh who I send those to. She's a really good Photoshop person, and she'll clean those up for me, and kind of get rid of the background,
awesome.
when it's kind of between the hair kind of coming out. So,
So it
so,
sounds
so
as
we,
if, Richard, it sounds as if we don't need to send you a perfect photo because you have that support, which is really great. I have another question for you, Richard. What if I do want to purchase the directory with the list of companies for me to reach out to? What is the price for that?
the directory is $84, okay? And it's the same price that you paid back, I think you said in 2012 for it, okay? We've never changed the price. And it's paper. We print it, we bind it, we ship it to you priority mail. And that's going to list about 100, like I say, of the higher quality companies that pay the higher fees. Everything that we offer has a satisfaction guarantee. There's no risk to you, okay? We know you're going to get good value out of it, so we know we're not going to get it back, and it's going to help you grow your business. And when we answer our phone, we'll talk to you on the phone. We're not afraid to talk to you on the phone. So even we talk to people on the phone that have never bought anything from us. They'll call, they'll have a quick question, and that's no problem, because the whole idea is you're trying to help people, get into a better place, and you get a good feeling from that also. So, but don't hesitate if you see something you like. Don't worry about it. We'll talk to you if you got a question. And the first thing I asked Phyllis, and in fact, when I was talking, Michelle mentioned it. She had the directory, and Phyllis said she had a directory, and I wasn't know what kind of comments they were going to make, but they both had good comments about it. And I told Michelle, if she had some bad comments, I would just send her a refund.
Can
So,
I say a little bit more about this directory? So yes, you saw a picture of it. And all I did is it has about a paragraph of information, the name of the company, what type of inspections that the company specializes in, what the requirements are for inspectors. So I was able to pick and choose. The directory will also let you know what states they do business in. So there were a few of those companies that I didn't sign up with them because they weren't in Alabama, but there were plenty that were in Alabama. And $84 years ago, that was a lot of money. It made me pause and wonder, is this going to be worth it? And it definitely was worth it. I did not feel as if I had wasted that money. And so again, the directory will tell you how to connect with them, whether it's faxing them the resume that Richard's company designs, or if it's going online and filling out a template of contact information.
yeah, let me just add that also, the directory is in two parts. There's what we call the national part, national companies, and then regional companies. The national companies, they cover all 50 states. Okay, so if you look at a company that's behind that separator that says national, they cover all states in the U.S. and some even cover, Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands and Guam and the Mariana Islands. Okay, and then the second section part of that directory says regional, and those are companies that cover 3 or more states. And there you have to go through the regionals and kind of see which ones cover your state, and it'll tell you in there what states they cover. So when you add that all up, for most people, like if you're in Alabama, you're probably talking about 100 companies and good quality companies.
Well, and it's like Michelle says, and it's just like doing our notary work. We always want to make sure that we're going to be working for quality companies that have the work for us, and once we do the work, that we're going to get paid, a amount that corresponds with the work that we put into it. So what I
Yeah.
love about what Richard offers is this manual that the companies have already been vetted. So you don't have to do the work of going out there and vetting the companies themselves. You know that these companies are vetted companies. They're companies that have the work, and they're companies that are going to pay you for doing your work. So I mean, for $84, you're going to make that back in probably the first week or so after you get that list of companies. I mean, I bought the book as soon as I saw it. I'm like, I mean, to me, it was just a no-brainer because when I was doing my notary work, every company that I signed up with, I had to initially vet that company first, which, like I said, Richard has already done this. So, I mean, his to me, SoFi is just a no-brainer. If this is the type of work that you want to get into, joining his society for free. And I have been a member of his society, I want to say probably close to 10 years. And I still get I still get emails all the time. Lots of great information. It's not junk mail, it's great information. So, I mean, it's just to me, if this is something that you want to do, it's a no-brainer, and it's also invest in that manual.
Phyllis, did you feel at all that you needed special training to do these inspections?
I didn't feel like I needed any special training. Now, the companies that would hire me if they had training, they would tell you to take their training. So Richard provided the information, but the companies that he provides the information on, if you're going to work for a company, then the company that you work for is going to be the one that's going to provide you with training. And it's usually not a lot, some videos you might have to watch or something like that, to help you with taking the pictures and filling out the paperwork, but nothing that took a lot of time.
Michelle, with Phyllis's listing in our database, we have a little note in there that says that she may need some extra help from time to time.
I figured, yeah. Special needs, special.
Special needs.
Just special needs. Just kidding. But there's also some bonuses we give you too. Like we give you the inspection descriptions with the directory. We tell you about all the different types of inspections that are out there and kind of what they're all about and the purpose of them and the pay range, kind of the average pay range for them. We also give you access to Sophie University, which has about 10 gigabytes of help documents and audios and videos. And some of the ones that I think you should probably watch up there. The password for that is Florida, by the way, like the state of Florida, but all lowercase. But listen to some of the audios about marketing and mistakes that people make. Okay, that are independent contractors. I see the mistakes made a lot, okay, and I have to educate a lot of people on things. I talked to a woman down in Jupiter. Actually, she's a notary, and she kept emphasizing that the first letter, her email starts with notarization. And she said, make sure the first letter has got a capital N on it. And I said, no, that doesn't make any difference anymore. You know, maybe for passwords and stuff, but not for emails. Some people have very long emails, okay? And sometimes the I's and the L's and the O's and the zeros and, you know, it can really get mixed up, okay? I see emails from people who have Christine in their email and their name is Nancy. You know, who are you talking to, Christine or Nancy? You know, who, you know, I had one fellow had A-I-E-I-O-U 3 times in there. You know, I couldn't remember which was coming first and which was coming next. I guess there was a little, must have been a farmer, A-E-I-O-U or something like that. I don't know what it was, but one field inspector had a Gmail account that was couch potato at Gmail. And I'm a frank person. I mean, I'll confront you head on. I'll say, who do you think's going to hire a couch potato? Do you know what a couch potato is? It's someone that just sits on the couch and doesn't want to work. You know, that email is not going to get you any jobs. Okay?
Exactly. Richard,
Uh,
you said this earlier, but we had a few more people join us. Let's say I'm not me, I'm one of our members here, and I like what I've heard today. I want to get started. What should be the first thing that I do, or what website do I go to first?
well, we have fieldinspector.com is one of our websites, okay? And I'd like to give you that URL because that's what you want to be as a field inspector, fieldinspector.com, and that'll take you up to everything that we have, all the information we have. And up at the top of the page, you can join Sophie. Membership is free. You can go over to the left-hand menu and look at some hiring companies. And you can just see kind of everything we offer, okay? That person can also go up to the Sophie blog. That's sophieblog.com. I mentioned, you know, mortgage inspections. I'm really down on mortgage inspections. And so what I wanted to do was separate the business so that we were only on the good side of things, okay? So I have a Sophie blog, which talks about all the good stuff. And then because the mortgage inspections are so low fee and there's so many problems there, that I created another blog called Mortgage Horror. Mortgage and horror, like, you know, the horror movie. And I think there's probably 3,000 or 4,000 posts up there about all the problems over there, okay? And the whole idea is to discourage people from going into an area where, you know, maybe the pay is, well, almost always the pay is low. Maybe they won't get paid at all. And it's just not a good place to be for you. You also pay for a background check with almost all those companies in the mortgage segment. Whereas when you go into the commercial and the insurance segment, you'll find the companies will do a background check, but they won't charge you to do it. And if you look at the whole US, you'll find that probably 99% of companies require a background check. And probably 99% of companies will not require you to pay for it, okay? I've never paid for a background check in my life. I never expect to pay for a background check. Have I been checked? Yeah, absolutely. When I was in the military, you know, I had some top secret, specially compartmented security clearances, and I had people actually talking to my neighbors, asking me what kind of a person I was to get that clearance. And yeah, I worked up to the National Security Agency, you know, the people that listen in on your phone calls. I trained up there and up there to work there. And I also worked CIA too. And there, you know, I had to have a polygraph up at the national security agency. So, but I never paid for anything, and I don't think people should have to pay for a background check. The National Notary Association, I know they have a system set up where you pay a one-time fee, and it's a small fee, I believe, and that kind of covers you with all the companies you work for. But the mortgage segment is not set up that way.
Okay.
And but when you work in commercial insurance, they're going to do the check, but you're not going to pay for it. And then let me say a few things about networking. Okay, networking is very important for both the notary signings and field services. And I think a lot of people just don't do enough networking. Okay, I talk to people that are field service inspectors that have never talked to another field service inspector. And how many of you here on, I know you're all muted, you can't answer it, but how many of you have talked to other notary signing agents? Hopefully you talked to some. I'm not a notary. I think it's a good place to be. I should become a notary in Florida. It's a great state to be a notary in. The National Notary Association is a good association. I've never heard a complaint at all about them at all. I'm sorry that their Orlando conference is going to be delayed. I saw a note where they canceled that because that would have been a good conference to go to and meet a lot of people. And when we get, and they canceled the one they had in Nevada, was it Nevada? Scottsdale, Arizona. Yeah, they had to cancel that one because of pandemics, and now Orlando's canceled, it looks like. So hopefully they'll have the virtual conference, but hopefully they'll have a conference when we get the vaccinations going, maybe in Orlando. That'd be a nice place. But I've become interested in the notaries group. Okay. I noticed I can't see all the photos here, but usually kind of the women outnumber the men about 10 to 1. Okay. A lot of gorgeous women. I see a lot of gorgeous women, and I see handsome men too. A handsome guy here. A lot of gorgeous women. And so you all need to get together more and share experiences. And I think if I was a single Florida notary, I'd be going to that Orlando NNA conference. There'd be a lot of women to meet there. Yeah.
Richard, you mentioned women, and some of these assignments are, you mentioned going to the marina, the John Deere plant. Can women really be successful in field inspections? And again, I know this is a kind of sexist comment, so forgive me, everyone, but how physically demanding are these inspections?
Well, I would say, there's going to be some driving involved, and there may be some walking around a facility, and there'll be some photograph taking, but the ones that we really deal with are very friendly, okay? Because like I say, you're going there to do a job, to do some verification where the company can't get what they want unless you've been there, okay? Take something like a business verification, okay? I did a cardiovascular clinic where they were hiring nurses, okay? And as part of that hiring process, they were going to run background checks on the nurses. And in order to get online access to the background check information, I had to go there and check them out. That was my purpose. Are they really a cardiovascular clinic? Yeah, they were. They had a sign out front that said Blue Ridge Cardiovascular Clinic. Took a picture of that. Took a picture of the address on the building. I could see the hospital in the background. Walked inside, they had all these little brochures on how to, fix your heart, protect your heart, get treatment for your heart. I talked to the administrator there, and he showed me the cabinet that they were going to lock the background information in, which they printed out. And he showed me he could lock it. Okay, took a picture of that. And then we walked down to an empty examining room, and I took a picture of, that table with the paper on it and an EKG machine. And so I was out of there in about 10 minutes with 4 photos, and I think that paid around $40. And I was on my way to Lowe's anyway, so it was right on the way. Now, if I didn't show up, or if he gave me a hard time, which I don't know why he wouldn't get information on those background checks. And so he would get hurt. And the whole idea of me coming there was to make sure that they were just a clinic, and they were. And so that's the kind of inspections you want to be doing.
Okay, good. That's great information. Excuse me. Wanda had a question. She had a question about the dress code based on the example. She asked, is there a dress code based on the inspection? For example, in the field, pants and walking boots, restaurant slacks, and casual shoes, or a construction site, a hard hat.
It's I've never worn a hard hat doing any inspection. I've been on construction sites just walking through and doing like the draw inspection, but most of the workers weren't wearing a hard hat either. It's pretty much casual dress, okay? I've always worn just a shirt with a collar. You can't have Budweiser on the front or anything like that. In Florida or Virginia, even in the summertime, I always wore shorts, regular length shorts, not short shorts or anything. And, athletic shoes. Okay. And so that's pretty much the dress code. There's a, there's a company up in, I think they're in Wisconsin that well, most companies have a dress code and they'll tell you what it is. Excuse me, but there was a company up in Wisconsin. I guess I can mention their name. I don't think they'll sue me, but Five Brothers Field Services. They wrote a policy manual and included in there some pictures of what you should dress like. Okay. And what they did is they showed some millennial men in there, who were dressed really nice. Okay. And then for the example of what not to look like or what not to dress like, they put a picture of Mike Rowe in there. Do you all know Mike Rowe, the dirtiest guy in the world? He had a TV program that he was the guy digging out sewers, and nice looking
Yes.
guy. Okay.
Yes.
Very, very well known. Mike Rowe, R-O-W-E. You can go up and Google him. But they put his picture in there. Okay. And somebody told him about it, and he wrote him an email and threatened to sue him and everything else. And of course, he was laughing about it. He had no intention of suing or anything, but you got to be careful when you're using stock photos and you put a real person in there that's a real personality, okay, and has a TV show about doing some of the dirtiest jobs, and make him your example of what not to dress like or look like. That's not good. So I'm sure they removed it. Another case, a guy, he worked for a company called NCCI out in California, and they had a rule that you couldn't have anything on your shirt, like Budweiser or anything. And this guy went out and took some pictures. He was just verifying an address, and he was standing in front of a bunch of glass doors, okay, and windows, and he took the picture of the address, okay. And the people that own the place there where he went to visit, they actually called NCCI and complained about his dress and said that he was just there with a big Budweiser shirt on and sleeves were cut off, and he, didn't look very good at all. And so they fired the inspector, okay? And then the inspector kept coming back to him and saying, they lied about it. I didn't have that on there, and I wasn't wearing a Budweiser shirt and all that stuff. And then they showed him the picture that he took of the front glass of the door, and there he was standing there, in the reflection with that Budweiser shirt on. I mean, that was so crazy. So if you're gonna take a picture, make sure you're not in the picture if you're not in compliance with dress codes.
That was a good question. I hadn't even thought about how you should be dressed when you go. I just usually do business casual anyway.
Yeah.
I figure you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah,
So,
business casual is the way to go. Yeah.
okay. Well, this has been some great information. Thank you so much, Richard. I mean, this opens up a whole door uh, for additional streams of income for us. And you don't even have to be a notary to do this. This is something that we notaries do, but I'm thinking about, hey, I got a son, he can have another part-time job doing this. He's a big, strong man. So, and he eats a lot, so we need to put him to work. So,
Yeah,
go
you
ahead,
just
Richard.
have to get out there and do it. I've talked to a lot of notaries at the end of last year and the first part of this year, and a lot of them have everything they need, but they're just kind of a little kind of scared to step out of the door and go out and do something because they're afraid maybe they'll make a mistake. And you can't be like that because you have to go out there. Of course, get the training, talk to other people. I've suggested to some that, hey, if you've got another notary in your area and you're starting out and they're starting out, why don't you go out together? You know, because four eyes are better than two eyes. And one of you probably got training at a different place than the other. And then you'll both get some more confidence. Okay. And you'll do better. You don't have to do that, too many times, hopefully, but just kind of meet some other people because they're going to be competition too for you later on. So
Hmm.
hopefully you'll get better than them. But the idea is to kind of step in there. I was in the Navy. I was a naval flight officer in the Navy and also an aircraft maintenance officer. And I also flew as a civilian pilot too. But when you go through pilot training, okay, you get some ground school, and then you go flying with an instructor, and the instructor corrects some of your mistakes. And then you come to a certain point where you land the airplane. You're landing it almost every time, anyways, when you're with the instructor, and you land the airplane, and the instructor gets out. He says, "Okay," he says, "You got it. It's your time to solo." And there you are. You're sitting there in the airplane, and you're going to go out. You got no instructor. You know, suppose the engine dies. Oh, geez, what am I going to do? But you manage, okay, and you feel good about it later on because you didn't crash on takeoff and you didn't crash on landing. You came back in one piece, and you got up there and you flew around that pretty blue sky for a while. I guess that's what notaries do, fly around the blue sky up there. And you didn't die, okay? You could have died. I mean, you could crash on takeoff or landing, but no one's going to die, I think, doing a notary signing or a field inspection, okay? And suppose you miss an initial and you got to go back. You won't miss the next one, that's for sure, because it was probably a 30-minute drive each way. So get out there and do it. And y'all look smart. Well, some of you I can't see, but people I see, you all look smart. You all sound smart. So you are smart, probably. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'll bet, money that you're all pretty smart and you know what you're doing. And there's potential out there. I kind of like it to go up and listen to the Mark Will videos. I'm not promoting him. Maybe I should. He no, I got like somebody shook their head, but he does talk about the marketing, I'm sure. I don't know about the rest of this training, but marketing is the key. You may know how to do it, maybe where to get the work, but you got to get out there and find more companies. And you got to have a list. Once you get your list of 12 and you're doing pretty good, you still got one company that's at the bottom of your list. Maybe they don't pay that much. Maybe you don't get much work from them. So you're always out there marketing, looking to replace your weakest customers with better customers. So the marketing is very, very, very important. If you take two people, if you take person A that's good at marketing, but maybe not so good in performance, And then you compare them to person B, who is terrible in marketing, but really a great performer. I think the person that's going to make the most money and be the happiest is the person A that knows the marketing, is not afraid to do the marketing. So I say, for all of you here, make a goal that you're going to send out next week, 10 emails to companies asking for work, and that you're going to make 5 phone calls to companies asking for work. And if you don't do that, no dessert that evening. That week. What do you mean that evening? That whole week, no dessert.
No dessert.
If you don't do it.
That's a good one. That's a good
That,
one.
watch your business boom if you can hold to that.
Yeah, and I totally 100% agree with Richard about the marketing. That's key to every business, is being able to market your services that you offer. And with that, I would like to also let you guys know that we have a Notary Lounge in Clubhouse. If you have an iPhone or iPad, you can join us on Clubhouse every Sunday at 3 o'clock. Myself, Michelle Riley, Jake Halter, and Brenda Stone. We do a training every Sunday at 3 o'clock in the Clubhouse. I am going to post that information in the chat, so please feel free to join us. We go over some great stuff, and I brought that up too because tomorrow's subject is marketing. So we're going to give some tips and share some of our marketing secrets that have helped us in this business. So please join us tomorrow if you can. And I just want to say thank you again so much to Richard for taking the time out to share this information about doing field inspections. I mean, you guys, this is a no-brainer. And then this is one of those things, you know how when you first became a notary, how everybody wanted money from you. They wanted money for you had to pay for your commission, you had to pay for your certifications, to pay for your background, your E&O. This is not even asking you for anything except for, if you want more business, get that manual so you'll know who to market yourself to. I mean, like I said, to me, it's a no-brainer. But I'm glad you guys were able to join us today. Richard, do you have any last words?
I think the clocks are supposed to change, aren't they, tomorrow?
God, seems like we just changed them.
No,
Yes,
I
they did.
think they change
Daylight savings
again
time this weekend.
tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, do they? Anybody else know?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Yes, mine are already changed.
I saw
Yeah,
that message. I thought it was a mistake.
So that'll give you that'll give you some extra daylight hours, which will be nice. Okay, for making some extra money, you'll be able to work some long days. Try to work long days, doing notary signings so you can take some days off. Maybe you have a longer weekend too. I always like to work hard so I could, take time off. And you can do the same thing and learn to batch things up, kind of try and get as much and keep your area small. And, once you get your notary business going too, you can start shrinking your area up. Okay. Once you start bringing in a lot of work, then the next goal is to shrink your service area down. Okay. So that you're not, spending as much time in traveling, and you'll make more money that way too. So don't cover just a huge area with one company, cover a small area with a dozen companies, and you'll do better that way. Well, you all have a nice weekend, and if you have any questions on anything, you can call me. My number is kind of plastered all over the website up there, and like I say, I'm not afraid to talk to people. And answer questions and kind of get you in the right direction. I'll give you honest answers. I'll give you answers you may not like sometimes, but at least, I feel good about it still. And, kind of get you on the right path. And like I say, get out there and try some different things. Don't, kind of explore a little bit and see what happens. That's it. Have a nice weekend.
Okay, Michelle, you got any last words? You on mute, Michelle. Michelle, you on mute.
I know I do that all the time. I want them to read my lips. So help you all with your signing. Thank you, Richard, for coming. And thank you, all of you. Later this week, Tuesday the 16th, I am going to be conducting a webinar called So You Want to Be a Process Server. Anyone who may be interested in becoming a process server in Alabama or even in Texas, this is not training. This is an introduction, an overview to give you the information you need to whether to pursue that or not. If you're interested, I'll type in text and chat the website. You can read more about it and register if you are interested. And I can't wait to see you at the next Notary Gals webinar.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you showing up.
I have a word, Miss Phyllis.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah, Dennis. Yes, what's up?
Thursday night at the end of the day, I shut down my machine and it asked me if I wanted to update and shut down or update and restart. I said, shut down and update. And I went to bed. When I got up in the morning, everything was gone. My bookmarks, my passwords, everything. I'm having to rebuild everything from scratch. And just be careful about Microsoft 10 did an update that has me completely rebuilding my connections, my contacts, everything. And I'm about ready to give up. Ain't nobody got time for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis, because I just got a notice to update my Microsoft 10. So it sounds like I don't need to continue.
I called my service people and they said, before you do an update, call us and we'll tell you, we'll look at the update and we'll evaluate what the potential. But obviously it's too late for me now.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, really. Thank you for sharing that.
There's a pony in here somewhere. Y'all know the story of the pony?
No, but I hate that happened to you.
Well, they take this little boy and they put him in this room that's full of manure, and he comes out completely upset. So they take the second little boy and they put him in there in the room full of manure, and he comes out with the same complaint. What, are y'all crazy? Putting me in there in that room full of manure. They take the third little boy and they put him in that room full of manure, and he comes out just jumping for joy. Somebody give me a shovel. They said, what's the matter? What do you mean, give you a shovel? He says, yeah, with that much manure, there's got to be a pony in there somewhere.
Okay, Dennis.
with the complete destruction of my setup on my computer, there is a pony in there somewhere. I just got to keep digging.
I'm just so sorry that happened to you.
For sure. I'm calling my tech service now.
Yeah, so
It'll
you
get
got to
better
be careful with those updates.
It will be a blessing, I assure you. It will be a blessing. Yeah. Just doesn't look like that today.
Yeah.
Okay. We're up to go from there.
Have a great week, everyone.
Okay, you guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you very much. Thanks for
Thanks for having us.
Bye, Michelle. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Richard.